First off, I have never heard of this story, so this is like, I guess, your third installment, okay? Because this guy, we're gonna get into it, but he was convicted of killing his parents, and this is the third murder trial. The first two were mistrials. Let's get into it, okay? We see what murder looks like. On July 29th, 2016, Armstrong called 911 after a third party closest to him say that they heard shots coming from his parents' bedroom in the Houston home. He told the dispatcher he never saw any intruders and the only people in the home were him, his 12-year-old sister, and his parents. Okay? When police arrived at the home, they found his mother, Dawn Armstrong, and his father, Antonia Armstrong Sr., in their bed with gunshot wounds to their head. Dawn Armstrong died at the scene and her husband died the next day. In court records, detectives noted no signs of forced entry, and AJ Armstrong told dispatcher he turned the house alarm off while on the phone with 911. I'm going to read this last bit, then I'm going to talk a little bit. After a search of the home, officers found a .22 caliber handgun on the kitchen counter with a note that says, "I have been watching you for a long time. Get me," according to the affidavit. Okay. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about this little point right here. Okay. And I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm, kind of like doing this with my nose. It's high pollen and I am very sensitive to that. Okay. But here's the thing, okay? So it's you, I believe it's 16 at this time, your 12-year-old sister, your mother, and your father, okay? There's a brother, but he ain't at the house, okay? So we only got 4 people in this house. There's gunshot sounds coming from your parents' room, okay? These people are loaded with cash because the father, Armstrong Sr., what's his name? Antonia Armstrong Sr. He was a former NFL player, so they got money and all that. Of course, you would expect security systems and all that kind of stuff. So that alarm never went off, meaning your entry points. And I know how security systems work, where you have your door sensors, you have your window sensors, you have all those. So if something were to trigger, open it up, people would know. So with that being said, okay, Alex, what's the whole point of that? If that never triggered, that means it was somebody in the house. So this person was already in this house, staking it out. Somehow they magically got in here a day before or whatever. Or, which I find to be highly unlikely, or it's the latter. And that means it was either the son or it was the daughter. Okay. No fingers are pointing to the daughter. So we only got one suspect here. Okay. So that's one. Okay. They said there was no signs of forced entry. So there you go. Okay. Even if you didn't have something on, maybe you didn't have a sensor on your window, there was still no signs of forced entry. Make it make sense. Okay. So, and then you found the handgun on the kitchen counter with a note that says, "I've been watching you for a long time. Get me." Let's continue. Detectives also found 2 pillows with bullet holes that matched the caliber of the gun. So you went and killed. So this mystery person went and killed the mother and father, but not you or your sister. And then they had that same gun, which I'm sure there's fingerprints all over it. And then they placed it on the counter saying, "I've been watching you. Come get me." Well, if they already killed the parents and you had easy access to the kids, why didn't you just kill the kids? I mean, watching who? You've been watching who? Because the parents are dead, so they can't see the note. Now, if you said, "I've been watching them," because it said, "I've been watching for a long time." You've been watching what? If you said, "I've been watching the parents for a long time," but you just said, "I've been watching," well, you had full access to kill the kids. Why didn't you just go and kill them off the whole family? Unless that's not what they wanted. And i.e., in this case, it's not what the son wanted. I don't want to kill myself. I want to kill the parents. That's what's going on. Let's continue. So it says that they found bullet holes that matched the caliber of the gun, along with the gun holes in AJ Armstrong's bedroom. The affidavit said in an interview with detectives, the younger Armstrong was unemotional despite knowing his parents were shot. So you had interviews with the detective, I'm assuming right after this whole event happened. And now people say people grieve in different ways and whatever, you have shock. But you were unemotional. Okay. Let's continue. AJ Armstrong, now 23 years old, has steadfastly maintained his innocence, saying in 2020, "I didn't do it." He also filed a federal lawsuit against the Houston Police Department on Tuesday, alleging they planted evidence against him. Armstrong's defense attorneys have tried to pin the killing on Josh Armstrong, AJ's half-brother, who suffered from mental health issues. Now, mind you, they said there was no forced entry. They checked the log. They said, hey, this was the time from the time you guys last set the alarm, from the time that you guys set it, from the time that you deactivated it, you guys go to bed. Okay, everyone's in the house. Let's set the alarm. Boom, here. You said it was only the mother, the father, the sister, the brother. That's only 4 people. Like I said, we got another brother, but he wasn't there. And there was no signs of forced entry. We could check the log, we could check cameras, and he wasn't around. So how could he have done it? Okay. The first criminal trial was in April 2019, when the jury could not come to a verdict after 2 days of testimony. It was the same result in the second trial last October. Jurors in the trial heard more than 40 hours of testimonies from 31 witnesses over 11 days. Now, Antonia AJ Armstrong Jr. was sentenced, this is now, to life in prison after a guilty verdict came down on Wednesday afternoon. According to court records, it was the third trial, as the previous 2 ended in mistrials because they could not come to an agreement. It says Houston ABC affiliate KTRK reported the jury deliberated for about 10 hours, just over 2 days, reaching a unanimous conclusion of guilt. Okay, so I have another article here, and this gives a little bit more into details. Okay. So it says ex-NFL sons Antonia AJ Armstrong Jr. found guilty in 2016 murder of parents. Okay, so it says prosecutors said Armstrong has shot the same gun into a pillow and blanket through a floor in his bedroom about a week before killing his parents. Okay, because this is a lot. So first, they said that he shot the same gun that was laying on the table that someone, I've been watching you. He shot the same gun into a pillow and blanket through the floor of his bedroom about a week before the killings, and lit a fire outside of his parents' bedroom 2 days before. So before his parents got murdered by him, allegedly, well, it's not alleged anymore. He went and shot a pillow blanket through his bedroom floor that matches the same caliber. Okay, about a week prior. Then he lit a fire outside of his parents' bedrooms 2 days before. That right there, when you shot that gun, get the F out of my house. We're going to have to send you off somewhere. We're going to put you in a little foster care or something. We can't have you in here because you are a danger. You're posing a danger to us. Even at 16. Let's continue. They also said he searched how to craft a car bomb on his iPad, and his story of seeing a mass intruder fleeing his home did not add up. Okay, so you already set a fire 2 days prior to killing your parents. Any coincidence that you are then looking at on your iPad how to craft a bomb? Come on. And this is planted evidence, even though you did it and it happened, and we see that it happened. We know that it happened. And then you said that there was a mass intruder that somehow teleported did a Michael Myers teleportation into certain places. Jason even teleportation. He teleported into your house, didn't trigger any alarms, nothing. And then he did and then he teleported out, and then he started doing the Michael slow walking thing. Okay. Armstrong told investigators he saw a 6-foot tall man in a mask flee their home, but prosecutors said he did not mention any of this until hours into the interrogation with police, and the home security alarm system showed no records of anybody entering the home the night of the murders. So once they got home and they turned on the alarm, hours passed, whatever, then they all go to sleep. And now some intruder just does not trigger any alarms, no false, no signs of breaking and entering, and he just teleported in the house, did the teleported out, and did a Michael Myers. And you didn't think about any of this until after hours, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of interrogation. You're like, oh yeah, there was a masked man. Okay, let's continue. Armstrong had been scolded by his parents after he was kicked out of his high school, receiving failing grades and smoking marijuana. So your parents looked at you as a disappointment because you got all the money, all the resources on your side, and you still fuck up. You're failing out of high school, and then you're doing drugs. Really? The defense, however, tried to cast doubt on the prosecutor's theory and said Armstrong's older brother, Josh, was a more likely subject due to his severe mental health issues, including paranoia and schizophrenia, even though he was not at the house and there was no record of him being at the house. So somehow he teleported too. Man, we got some teleportation people up in here. We got orbs now. We're going to do some charmed orbing too. Let's see. Or blinking like the warlocks. The defense said doctors reported that Josh believed that he was both a god and a devil during the stays at the psychiatric hospital following his parents' death, and once told the doctor that he had witnessed his parents' murders. Okay, now this is from the defense. Okay, so this is protecting Armstrong Jr. Okay, prosecutors on the other side rebuked the defense's argument and said that Josh developed mental health problems after the murder of his parents, and likely because of their killing, cited medical records and testimony from Josh's girlfriend at the time. So they're saying, well, he's mentally ill. He got schizophrenia and he's paranoid and all of this kind of craziness. And look, he's crazy, y'all. Look, he probably did it. It wasn't Armstrong Jr. Look, it's a half brother. Look, he did it. Well, there's no record of him being there anyways, and he didn't have any prior mental health issues until after his parents were murdered. So make it make sense. Let's continue. Josh's then girlfriend testified that she and his cousin were both with him at his apartment around the corner from his parents' home on the night that they were killed. So he was not living with the parents. He was at his own apartment. He has his girlfriend at the time and his cousin, who can also vouch and say, this fool was with us. So he has an alibi. Okay. So they were, and they were talking about some other stuff. But that is a very interesting story, y'all. Very, very interesting, y'all. Okay. So you kill your parents, and now you're saying, oh, it's a half brother. It was a half brother. Well, the half brother wasn't even there. 1, 2, he was with his girlfriend at the time and his cousin down the street. 3, we know he wasn't there because there was no camera footage showing that he was there in the house. These security cameras, you got cameras outside too. There's nothing showing that he was at the house. 4, there was no, signs of breaking and entering. 5, the thing didn't trigger until you turned it off. So it had, unless he teleported, and we're talking about witchcraft and wizardry up in here, it had to have been somebody in the house. And because you were getting bad grades, you failed out of high school, and you would have to go into one of those other schools where people who can't get their act right, one of those schools. So you failed, you were smoking marijuana and doing all this other stuff. So you get this, and he was with some, and this is right here is just some speculation, okay, on my part, from my understanding. So he's married to some chick that she knew him during this whole time, like even when he was 16 or whatever. They end up having a kid together, okay? So you were with this chick and all that. Your family's loaded with cash. Now, what I'm wondering, now I'm just speculating at this point. I'll just say some alleged or something, okay? Let's add it to the screen. So, what I'm kind of curious about is, did she maybe have something going on, you know? Or, maybe you were like, man, I can't believe they doing this, and maybe there was some kind of life insurance settlement. Maybe there was some kind of money that could have gone your way, and she was okay with that. She was like, okay, yeah, baby, go ahead and do it. It's fine. Get us some money, boo. And maybe that's what was going on. Or you just outright was like, okay, I want to do it. And she was just like, okay, just don't involve me, because then you think about it. Okay, you were accused of killing both your parents in your house, and it means so much evidence against you. Why would you then have a kid by this man? It's like saying, I know this guy's a serial rapist, and then I'm like, okay, oh, I have all the facts that you're a serial rapist. Impregnate me now. What? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you're a serial killer? Oh, great. Hey, come over here. What? Double homicide? And you're like, ooh, that's sexy. Now you could say, oh, I don't believe that this happened. Now you have different kinds of people who, some people, they just don't want to see a black man go down, even though they did the crime. That's why you see these mamas, when you got these Ray-Rays and Pookies out here. Oh, he was a good kid when he was younger. And even though he's a piece of garbage now, so you just have some people who outright are not trying to do that, or who don't want to believe it, but yeah, we got it now. You were not going to be seeing the light of day. Now, with his sentencing, what I heard is going to be so it's a life sentence, but from what I heard, it's going to be 40 years that he has to serve. So if he's 23, he wouldn't be getting out until he's about 63. Okay. So you have to serve 40 years before you could be eligible for parole. Okay. So there you go. Okay. I'm sure, his wife was in there crying and doing all this. And it's like, well, you married a piece of garbage. Even if I suspect it and all this stuff is going on, you never critically, we're in America. They don't want anyone to critically think. But even if you just critically thought for a moment, like, how does that even work out? You would have had to kill them. Even if you claim that you were so oblivious to everything, it still does not add up. You know what I mean? Hey, I greatly appreciate if you could support me. Simply go to ebay.com. In the search bar, type in Latrice Limited, click on shops, and then support me. I have a wide variety of items on there, many of my own personal Latrice Limited items, such as candles, bath bombs, soaps, essential oil blends, lingerie robes, so much stuff. I even have men's ties and comic books on there. Definitely support me, and do not forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.